What is good? This is Ari Mack, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about The Anonymous. Social deduction competition shows are on the rise, and Peacock has unofficially named themselves the mother hub of all things deception. We have lying, backstabbing, alliances, all the good stuff to chew on, and this game has all of that and more, with a little bit of online life layered on top of it. Of course, the mini-games that show up in the pantheon of social deduction games should glean some information to the players. They are just as important as the overall scope of the game. Today, I'm going to dive into one factor of this show that plays a huge part in this game. Today's video is going to serve as a little bit of a rundown and a review of The Anonymous, but I'm mostly going to focus on one aspect of the game and how I think it can be improved because, that's just what I do. So let's get into it. The Anonymous premiered on August 19th, 2024 on the USA Network and also on Peacock. Players in this game range from civilians to slightly famous public figures to well-known competition royalty. They are guided through the game by Siri's final form, or as she likes to call herself,
I am your digital anonymous networking interface, but you can call me Danny.
Danny instructs them that even though they will be working with each other and playing against one another, the main idea is to stay anonymous throughout the game. Players choose icons which represent social media handles that they must hide behind. So each day, players will play games that will earn them money and win certain players' safety from being eliminated. They get to mingle with one another and talk about who they think did the best, who they want to work with, and who they might want to eliminate. Then, the players are secluded into their own bunkers where they will engage in an online chat where they can pretend to be whoever they want and get to say whatever they like. It is here where the daggers truly come out as they attempt to throw one another under the bus. Once the chat concludes, players will then vote for who they want to put up for elimination. If you receive just one vote, you are on the chopping block. Once the votes are cast, players regroup to discuss what was said in the chat and who they think is who. This goes on for a set amount of time before they return back to their bunkers where they will take the test. It is here where this show does what The Masked Singer should do. Each person attempts to match other players to their handles. Whoever receives the lowest percentage of other players matching them to their correct handle will become the Anonymous for the night. They, and they alone, get to choose who is eliminated from the pool of voted players. And this process is repeated throughout each episode. However, there is one major factor of this show that I want to talk about today, and that is called the Face-Off. The Face-Off is a minigame that shows up every other episode or so. Where other minigames are worth money and not so much use a bluffing aspect, this one most definitely does. In the show's words, it is a game designed for players to observe other players as they attempt to lie to them. For it is this ability to read others that will win them the grand prize at the end of the game. But let me explain how this game works. On the days where the face-off is played, players do not participate in a chat first. They actually vote, and the people who receive the most votes will play the face-off as a battle for safety. Let's set up a game for a player count of 6. All the contestants will gather around as they witness the 6 players who are up for elimination play this game. There are 6 boxes available. 5 of them say at risk, and 1 box says safety. Whoever owns the safety box at the end of the game will, of course, win immunity from being eliminated. In a random predetermined order, the first player will choose one of the 6 boxes at random and secretly look inside. It is then the second player's job to steal the box from that player or choose a new box. Players are allowed to observe and read other players, ask questions, what's in the box, are you happy what's inside, to help them make a decision. This continues down the line. The third player gets a chance to choose a new box or steal from the first 2, and then the 4th, 5th, and then the 6th player. Danny instructs the players that they better get good at this game and get good at it fast because it will be the game that is in the finale, and whoever wins the win box in that game will take home the grand prize. And here is where I come to take the wind out of these sails. The face-off minigame is not fair. Here's why. This game, of course, is designed for players to read one another and get to learn their mannerisms, their tics, and their tells. But here's the problem. If you're the first half of this group, the first, second, or third player, you are pretty much screwed. Yes, this game is designed to read people, but mathematically speaking, the first player has a 1 in 6 shot of picking the box that says safe. Player 2 now has an option. Do I steal player 1's box, or do I choose another one? Looking at the odds now, player 1 most likely picked an at-risk box, which means player 2's choice of picking a new box is now the best option for them because the odds are now 1 out of 5. This logic and probability follows down the line. Player 3 now has a 1 in 4 shot of picking the box that says safe, because odds are player 2 also chose an at-risk box. Player 4 has a 1 in 3 chance, and player 5 has a 1 out of 2. As you can see, the probability favors the back half players. The choice of stealing truly is in the hands of player 5 and player 6 because now the probability has reversed and the safe box is probably not the one that's on the table. And here's another kicker. Of course, if your box gets stolen, you get to choose a new one. In this scenario, player 1 and player 2 are doubly screwed because they don't get the opportunity to gauge other people's tells or mannerisms. Player 1 has a shot in the dark, and player 2 can only gauge player 1's reaction. And both of these players are situated in a position where the odds are not in their favor. The back half players have a better chance and more time to observe everybody else's mannerisms before they get to decide whether they want to steal or choose a new box. And this is why I say it's not fair, because all of the advantages go towards the last players. Because if you're in the first group, you either pray you pick the right box or you pray somebody steals it from you. And because the order is randomized, you are truly screwed if you're one of the first few to go. This game is an interesting thought experiment and truly does use bluffing, but it is in desperate need of some fixing, especially if it's going to be the game that determines the winner. In order to clean this game up, there's a couple things we need to address. Everybody should have equal footing and opportunity to read other players. The probability of success must be as equal as possible, while still maintaining the strategy of bluffing. Option 1, if we were to keep this format, I would say that the first player also gets to be the last player. If you are player number 1, you have absolutely no information to go off of, which is why it is best for the game to do a turn and have the first player also be the last player. Once player 6 goes, player 1 gets to go again, now with new knowledge. And perhaps this process could extend back to player 3. Once player 6 has chosen the box, there are no more to choose from. So now it's only swapping from here on out. Option 2, again, if we were to keep this format, is to make the voting process in the bunker be inversely proportionate to the order they go in for the face-off. Let me explain. As I said, all it takes is for one vote in the bunker for you to be up for elimination. But of course, there are some players who usually get more than one. They might get multiple. They can get 4 or more votes on them, which means that more players might want that person out. So I say whoever received the most votes in the bunker gets to go last. Because the last player has the most information to gather from the face-off, that player should be the one who received the most votes because it is implicated that they are the most at risk. This operates in the way the game is presented to us, but there might be other games that can do the same thing, but a little better. Unfortunately, the best game for this kind of experiment was done in a different show a few months earlier.
Deal or no deal?
No deal!
Yes, Deal or No Deal Island, the show nobody asked for, but we got anyway. This is a Frankenstein mashup of Survivor and Deal or No Deal, where instead of being in a studio, the cases are put out there on an island. Instead of participating in quote-unquote challenges, players go on excursions to retrieve the cases. Cases brought back are put into the main game that we know of Deal or No Deal, and players play for those cases to be added to a final jackpot. Yes, unfortunately, it is as bland as it sounds, and the only thing that comes out of this show is the potential hundreds of millions of dollars you can win, so why not? However, the games that are presented in Deal or No Deal Island do also deal with bluffing, and one of those games I thought would have been the perfect game for the Anonymous. A true face-off, if you will. In this game, players work in teams to bring back unidentified cases, and then one person from each team goes up against one another. One player stands with both briefcases facing them, and they open them up. Only they can see what's inside. It is their job to get the player they're facing off with to pick the case that has the lowest amount of money in it.
Okay, Jordan, go ahead and check out what's inside your cases.
So I have a degree in psychology from Boston University. Jordan looks at one case, looks at the other case, looks back at the other case again. She looked twice at that case. She likes it more. I'm gonna choose this one right here.
Pull the cord. See if you're right. Oh! Dawson wins!
600,000.
Gold team, $600,000.
This game is very interesting because the guesser gets to see the bluffer open the case, check out the money that's inside, make a decision on what case they want the guesser to pick. Is it a bluff? Is it a double bluff? What is the right way to go? Because of these rules, this would have been the perfect game for the Anonymous' face-off. Here's a little tweak for it. We would play a King of the Hill style game. Here there will be two boxes, one that says safe and one that says at risk. The first player gets to open up both boxes, see the position of each of them, and then attempt to get the guesser to pick the at-risk box. If the guesser picks safe, they become the new King of the Hill and the first player is eliminated. Then a new player will come up to face that player. And now the new player gets to choose whether they want to be the guesser or if they want to be the bluffer. This setup works on so many different levels. One, because all the players are there and get to watch, they can see everybody's ticks and tells, like I said before. They can see who is continuously winning at this and adjust their strategy accordingly when it's their turn. And this would be the epitome of face-off. This also causes more drama and tension. For the old face-off rules, once all the boxes are chosen, Danny asks each person to open their box and reveal what they have inside one by one. Obviously, the first few people who open their box will not have the safe inside. The suspense of the moment is pretty much gone until it's the last few. But in this new version, the editors can decide if we're going to see what's inside the box or not, whether we are along with the bluffer's thought process or keep it completely anonymous to the audience as the game progresses. This game would also work brilliantly as a finale. That tension would slowly rise as the fight to be King of the Hill becomes more dire. But sadly, Deal or No Deal Island, of all shows, stole this premise first. Could the Anonymous use it? Maybe. But I offer a completely original idea, and here's one coming straight from me. The game is all about bluffing and reading people, right? What better way to demonstrate this than a poker-style game with an anonymous flair? Let's look at the rules. We want a game that has everybody start off on even footing and have the same odds. We also want each player participating in the face-off to have the same opportunity to read each player. Let's say there is a bin full of pods. 100 to be exact, and each one has a number that ranges from 1 to 100. Each player will dig in and pick a pod and look at it secretly. Once everybody has done that, Danny will then introduce a target number. The aim of this game is to have a number that is closest to the target. So here we are. Each player has an equal opportunity of reaching their hand in and grabbing whatever they want. But once that target number is revealed, now they have a chance to look around the circle and start reading people immediately. Who's happy? Who's looking concerned? It's time for questions. What number do you have? Are you comfortable with that number? How far away from the target are you? It's time for you to make other people think you're the closest, or maybe get people to think you're far away, because now here comes the twist. Let's say we still have the setup of these 6 players. Each person has taken a pod, they've seen their number, the target number is revealed. Now, a 7th pod is placed in the center. After the discussion time, Danny instructs them. They now have one of 3 choices. They can either keep the pod they have, trade their pod with another player, or Hail Mary it and swap it for the 7th pod that's in the center. Just like in poker, you can have a great hand, but there's no guarantee your hand is the best. You have to read other people to see how confident they are in their number. Each player has the same odds and the same opportunity of reading the other players. And now imagine this game for the finale. Think about it. There's only 4 players. A tub of 100. You reach your hand in, you want the closest to the target number. There's a 5th ball that's in the center. It is your last ditch effort to bluff other players. Do you have a good number or do you not? And what do you do? For me, I would find this a hell of a lot more intense. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Tell me what you think about the Anonymous. Have you seen it? What do you think about the face-off? Is it really fair for those first few people? And what do you think about my ideas? Or what is one of yours? I would like to know. That is all I got for you today. This is Ari Mack for the Ari Hour. I'll talk to you guys soon.